Coronation Street viewers are convinced they have figured out the truth behind Aggie Bailey's mysterious absence. In this week's episodes, Dee Dee Bailey found herself in a life-threatening situation after delivering her baby. Just hours before going into labor, her concerns were brushed off, and she was sent back home. When her water finally broke, Dee Dee was urgently taken to the hospital, where doctors diagnosed her with preeclampsia, requiring an immediate delivery. After giving birth, she voiced that she still felt extremely unwell, but a white nurse dismissed her complaints. That same nurse then encouraged Dee Dee to engage in skin-to-skin contact with her newborn. However, when Dee Dee refused, the nurse unfairly labeled her as aggressive. Things took a shocking turn when the Bailey family arrived to visit Dee Dee, only for her to suddenly lose consciousness. It was then discovered that she was suffering from severe bleeding, something she had already warned the medical staff about. Rushed into surgery, Dee Dee experienced a dangerous hemorrhage due to her symptoms being repeatedly ignored. Doctors ultimately had to perform an emergency hysterectomy to save her life, meaning she will no longer be able to have children in the future. As Dee Dee's harrowing storyline unfolds, fans can't help but question the whereabouts of her mother, Aggie, played by Lorna Laidlaw. Aggie first appeared on the soap in 2019 alongside the rest of the Bailey family, who made history as Coronation Street's first regular black household. However, Aggie has been absent from the show since June 2023, seemingly vanishing without a trace. Later, it was explained that she had traveled to Birmingham to care for her ailing aunt, though this happened off-screen. Moreover, Aggie hasn't been mentioned since, which fans find strange, especially given that her daughter Dee Dee was expecting and has now given birth. However, viewers are now convinced they've uncovered the truth about her whereabouts, and it's far from good news. Discussing their theories on a Coronation Street fan page on Facebook, some believe that Ed may have secretly killed his wife. "Where is Aggie? She only went to Birmingham," one frustrated viewer exclaimed. Another chimed in, "You'd think her mother would have at least been mentioned, if not visited her." A third fan put forth a grim theory, speculating, what if Ed actually murdered her, and that's the real reason she's disappeared without a trace? Someone else agreed, saying, "I had a feeling something wasn't right. You might be onto something." A fifth viewer recalled, "Didn't he go to see her, then come back and claim they had separated? Sounds very suspicious to me." Coronation Street airs on ITV1 and ITVX every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. Coronation Street fans expose Mick and Lou's secret plan for Chesney and Gemma. Coronation Street enthusiasts are convinced they have uncovered the real reason behind troublesome neighbors Mick and Lou Michaelis' seemingly friendly behavior towards Gemma and Chesney Brown. Gemma Winter and Chesney Brown could be walking into danger with Mick and Lou, who, despite their outwardly generous nature, have been stirring up drama on the cobbles for weeks. However, rather than showing hostility toward Gemma and Chesney, the pair have been nothing but welcoming. In Wednesday's episode of the beloved ITV soap, the Michaelis couple showcased their generosity by offering the Browns a roof box for their vacation and even gifting them a brand new television. Their continuous efforts to bond, regularly stopping by with food and drinks, suggest that their kindness may not be entirely genuine. A recent scene hinted at a more sinister motive behind their actions. Longtime viewers will recall that earlier in the year, Mick, who was involved in a road rage dispute with Chesney as an aggressive van driver, made his life miserable. Chesney's anxiety over being pursued escalated to the point where he retaliated, damaging Mick's vehicle by pouring sugar into the fuel tank. This led to police involvement and fines. Not long after, Mick and Lou mysteriously appeared on Coronation Street. Since their arrival, they've established a seemingly friendly dynamic with Chesney. However, during a casual chat, Mick made a chilling remark that left Chesney rattled, warning him never to cross him, as he had no qualms about taking revenge. This subtle yet menacing threat suggests that their kindness may be masking an ulterior agenda. After a tense confrontation with Ronnie Bailey, Mick had to be restrained by Chesney. It was then that Chesney made a shocking realization. Mick was the same van driver he had feuded with, the one whose vehicle he had tampered with. Chesney uncovers the truth about Mick's identity. Fans fear dark intentions. Chesney stumbled upon a crucial revelation, informing Gemma that Mick couldn't possibly be his real name. The name didn't match the one of the van driver to whom Chesney had previously paid damages. After finding a letter from the court case, Chesney exposed Mick's actual identity. As it turned out, Chesney's suspicions were spot on. Mick was merely an alias, and his real name was Mark Michaelis. Given his history of threats against those who dared to cross him, along with Chesney's past sabotage of his van, both he and Gemma were left deeply unsettled. Although Gemma wanted to keep their discovery under wraps, fans believe Mick and Lou are already on to Chesney and are deliberately reeling him in. Many suspect their growing closeness to the Browns is part of a calculated plan for revenge, potentially involving stolen goods or an even bigger scheme. One viewer theorized if Mick knows Chesney wrecked his van, why gift him a TV, unless it's dodgy? Another pointed out, Mick definitely knows Chesney was the driver. I reckon he and Lou are leading them on, waiting for the perfect moment to strike back. Some fans predict trouble ahead, with one bluntly stating, Chesney's going to get battered. Another was certain he 100% knows it was Chesney. Adding to the speculation, one fan proposed, if Mick and Lou were brought in for a major summer storyline, there has to be a bigger reason they made Mick the van driver in Chesney's plot. Maybe he's planning to set Chesney up for something, tying into a bigger twist. Theories also swirl around Mick and Lou's son, with some suggesting he might already be a familiar face on the show, with further revelations still to come. A Coronation Street spokesperson confirmed that actors Joe Layton and Farrell Hegarty, who play Mick and Lou, will be exiting the soap together later this year. Mick and Lou were introduced to stir up chaos on the cobbles ahead of a major summer storyline, and they're certainly making an impact, the spokesperson shared. Joe and Farrell were signed for a set period. Some characters stay long-term, while others like Mick and Lou are designed to arrive, cause havoc, and leave a mess in their wake. Both actors are still filming and will remain on screen until the summer. Coronation Street airs Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and is available for streaming on ITVX. Adding to the turmoil, Ryan later showed up with more unwelcome news. Doctors had caught Rob Donovan's sepsis in time, and he was now expected to pull through. Furious, Carla vented her frustration, saying it was unjust that Rob would once again evade consequences while Betsy faced an uncertain future. The drama took another shocking turn moments later when Lisa confessed that she was the one who had fired the gun. Once Betsy regained consciousness, Lisa and Carla sat by her bedside. Wanting to shield Lisa, Carla kept the explanation vague, stating only that Rob has a lot to answer for when discussing how Betsy had been shot. The doctor returned with an update, explaining that Betsy had suffered significant nerve damage. In the best-case scenario, she would only experience numbness in her arm for a few weeks. However, if things took a turn for the worse, the damage could be permanent, leaving her unable to use her arm ever again. Your mum would be turning in her grave. I was meant to protect you, and instead Lisa began, her voice breaking. Before she could finish, Carla cut in, reassuring her that she had done everything she could, just as she always had. But Lisa wasn't in the mood to be comforted. Overcome with guilt, she stormed out and went straight to see Rob, hoping to lift her spirits by reminding him that he'd soon be back behind bars for good. Rob, however, wasn't about to let her have the last word. He tried to provoke her, first by pointing out that Betsy might have been spared if Lisa hadn't hesitated to pull the trigger, and then by taking a dig at Carla. How can I put this, eh? He sneered. Everyone who gets close to her ends up getting burned. Trouble follows her like a shadow. She has a way of dragging everyone down with her. Me, Peter, you. But Carla, she's always circling the drain, and the rest of us just get sucked into the sewer. Lisa tried to brush off his words, acting as if they didn't affect her. But when she later confronted Carla, it was clear Rob had managed to get under her skin. "This is on you and your brother," she snapped. "I should have trusted my instincts. My daughter was shot, and right now, my only priority is her, not you." Can Swarla bounce back from this? Coronation Street airs Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and is available to stream on ITVX.